All right, so we are back, you guys. Welcome to a new Upgrade Talk episode. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are excited. And now, we just want to first of all thank you guys for the feedback on the past episodes. I'm having a lot of people reaching out to me and telling me how the podcast has been helping them and stuff like that. So I truly appreciate it. Feel free to, if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Now we have visuals and stuff like that, so that's better. And also, if you're listening to, let's say, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever it is, make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe to the channel and stuff like that. That's gonna help greatly. So I thank you that for that. I thank you guys for that in advance. And let's jump right into the subject. I don't want to take too much of your time today. I want to talk about discipline. Okay, I want to talk how if you have discipline in your life, you have a free life. You have true freedom if you learn to be disciplined. But a lot of times people don't have the discipline. People live for the short term. People live for what's gonna make them feel happy just now. For that instant pleasure, that instant gratification. Instead of going for the long term game, instead of playing for the long term game, having a long term vision. And I want you guys to understand one thing. Society doesn't want you to be free. They want to keep you in bondage. Society doesn't want you to be fruitful. They're gonna have all these sorts of YOLO narrative. You only live once. Do what pleases you now. All these things are going to make you make decisions that are gonna feel good in the moment. But if you look long term, it's gonna make you ruin relationship, your finances, your dignity, all that stuff, right? So you have to be wise, and you have to understand that you need to play the delayed gratification game. You have to delay gratification. You have to be willing to suffer a little bit now, but to live a fruitful life in the future. A lot of people want to just enjoy the 20s. You're not going to be young your whole life. I get that. But you have to understand one thing. There's a difference between enjoying your youth, your 20s, your teens, whatever it is, and destroying the rest of your life. A lot of people don't understand that difference. You can enjoy your 20s and your youth while still being disciplined. You can find that joy in discipline, in living a disciplined life. And we're gonna talk about that later on the podcast. But I want you guys first of all just to grab your mind around the fact that instant gratification, instant pleasure is not what's going to make you feel fulfilled in long term. If you're disciplined, you're going to really be fulfilled. If you're disciplined, you're truly going to be free. And I remember on the podcast on freedom, I think it was episode number 3, I gave you the definition of freedom. Freedom is the state of not being enslaved or imprisoned. So if you're not enslaved or imprisoned, you are free. But I want you to first of all understand this. So if we talk about society and just life in general, if you're not in prison, if you're not in jail, well, you're technically free, right? But that still requires you to be disciplined. That's why there are a set of rules. If you don't follow these rules, you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go in prison. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be disciplined in order for you to not go to prison, and not be kept in bondage in between four walls in an institution. You get what I'm saying? But now take that and just step away from just the physical prison. Are you free when it comes to like your phone and stuff like that? Are you kept in bondage? I want to give you guys an example of something that happened to me. The time of my life where I was the most disciplined, I think was last year. Beginning of 2021. Okay, I was having like a set routine. I was waking up every single day 5 a.m. I would have like my morning routine. I would have my workouts. I would have my work schedule, all of that, and I would go to sleep at 10 p.m. On the dot, almost every day. But at 10 p.m. I had to take my phone and put it away, and not be consumed by my phone, because I knew that if I started looking at my phone, I would stay awake for maybe another 30 minutes, and now another hour, and then I wouldn't be able to wake up the next morning. And then what happened recently is that this phone that I have here in my hand kept me in bondage. I'll be real, it kept me in bondage. I couldn't I couldn't uh, um, I couldn't keep my eyes away from my phone. I would always have my phone in my hands, stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people have this issue, right, because of like the social media and stuff like that. But I had to tell myself like, hey, your phone is keeping you in bondage, man. You're being a slave to your phone, right? And I'm not saying, of course, I work online, so I have to have my phone. I have to work on my computer, something like that. But when it's time to go to bed, now I had to go back to that discipline of, okay, put your phone away, maybe grab a book, start reading and stuff like that. Because if I don't master that, if I don't master my phone is mastering me. So to me now it's like getting back to that mastery of self. I read that book of Napoleon Hill. It's Think and Grow Rich, and it was talking about if you who he doesn't master self is who he doesn't conquer self is conquered by self. So if you don't master yourself, if you don't conquer yourself, if you don't have that self discipline, you're gonna be conquered by anything else. You're gonna be conquered. You're gonna be conquered by your phone. You're gonna be conquered by the food that you eat. You're gonna be conquered by your emotions, right? So if you are not disciplined, you are in bondage. You are in bondage again to your phone. You're kept in bondage by your phone. You're kept in bondage by your emotions. You're kept in bondage by your food. In order for you to be free, you have to be able to say no. You have to be able to say, okay, that's enough. You have to be able to make those decisions that are going to benefit you for the long term. You want to be in shape, but every time you see a piece of cake or a piece of whatever you want that is appealing to you, right? Because let's say if I say just cake, if you don't like cake, it's easy to say no to cake, right? Maybe it's something else. Whatever is hard for you, right? If you learn to say no to that, then you are truly free. It doesn't mean you're never going to have cake or you're never going to have what you like. It's just you're able to say no. And you know when it's the time for you to have it so that it's not going to affect you for the long run. You want to be in shape, you have to eat right, you have to exercise, you have to drink water, you have to sleep well. If you don't do these things, you're going to be kept in bondage. You're not going to be truly free. You get what I'm saying? It's only through, and yes, again, it's going to be hard on the moment. In the moment, it's going to be hard in the moment. But if you look past that initial difficulty, that initial discomfort, you're gonna find freedom on the other side. If you get past that initial discomfort, you're gonna find freedom on the other side through discipline. Through discipline. You get what I'm saying? And I'll give you another example. I can give you so many examples of that. I'll give you an example. You're in a relationship. You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined to not talk to the person of the other to people of the other gender in a certain way that is not appropriate. I tell my girl, she can go through my phone. I don't care. Sometimes I leave my phone by her side. If she wants to go through it, she doesn't. But if she wants to, I have nothing to hide. Because I know that I'm disciplined enough to not, engage into certain conversation that I shouldn't. And then again, society is gonna try to make you fall for your spouse or your partner should never go through your phone. And I mean, what do you have to hide, right? If you are disciplined in your relationship and you really want it to work, you're not gonna do certain things that might ruin your relationship or put your relationship in danger. You know what I'm saying? That it's not gonna put your relationship in jeopardy. Do these things, be disciplined so that you can be truly free. If she takes my phone or if I leave my phone by her side, and she does the same with me, you know what I'm saying? And that brings true freedom. It brings true freedom because I'm like, hey, we're good. You can go through my phone, no problem. Being disciplined financially so that you can have that financial freedom in the future. Maybe that's gonna require you to say no to certain things for a certain period of time. But then it's again going for the long-term game. It's not worth ruining. It's okay. So think about it this way. Do you think it's worth living your best life in your 20s, your teens, or whatever, if it's going to ruin maybe the next 20 or 30 years or 40 years of your life, trust me, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And again, it doesn't mean that you can't have fun, you can't go out, you can't eat certain food. No, it's just you learn to be disciplined. And you understand that if I indulge in these things for too long, it's going to ruin me for the long term. In the long term. You get what I'm saying? So always think, okay, how can I delay gratification? It might be hard right now, but again, I always say there's beauty in the pain. There's beauty in discomfort. There's beauty in delayed gratification. There's beauty in the challenge. There's beauty in pain. And once you find that beauty, it becomes your strength. Once you find that beauty in discipline, it becomes your strength. And it leads to freedom. And it leads to truly being joyful. You know, learning to, let's say for me, I'm not saying you have to be like me or whatever, but for me, I know that I had to wake up early. Like, not waking up early, because for the past few weeks, I was not waking up early. And I saw the results. I saw the result of how it impacted my life. Not waking up early, because I thought, like, I don't really need to wake up early. It just depends on what I do during my day. That's what's gonna create the result. It's what I do during my day, so it doesn't really matter what time I wake up, right? Which is true, but for me, I need to wake up early. So I got back to my 5 a.m. routine, and I can already see the difference. You know, because when I wake up too late, usually I miss the gym. You know, I don't go to the gym because it's too late, whatever it is, and I have things to do in my day, right? So now I know that if I wake up early, even if I don't have a productive day, the fact that I woke up early, I was able to go to the gym, that in itself, it's a win. But sometimes I wake up late, I would wake up late and still have a unproductive day, which is I lost in both ways. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I knew that I had to go back to waking up early. So what is it for you? I should start that question. What is it for me that works and I need to be disciplined at? And there are so many aspects of that. But if you don't have discipline, you're never going to truly be free. If you don't have discipline in what you eat, you're not going to be free. You're going to be kept in bondage by your food, by the food that you eat. And you're going to see the results in your health, in your weight, in how you feel, in your energy. Right? The food that you eat might feel right on the moment, but then you're going to be tired, and then you're going to gain weight, and then you're going to be unhealthy. Right? And then the habit is going to be so anchored that's going to be hard for you to get rid of it later on down the road. You know? So that's why you have to start changing. You have to start building the habit. You have to start being disciplined so that you can be free. Today, because I've been disciplined, I can eat a lot, pretty much anything that I want, you know, and the result, it's not going to affect me that much, you know, but I still have that discipline. So I still decide to eat right because I don't want to be kept in bondage by the food, even though it's not going to, like, physically, you're not going to see the results physically of me not eating right, but I still decide to eat right as much as I can because I don't want to be kept in bondage by the food that I eat, you know. So think about it. I read a book, it's called The 15 Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell, and the first law is the law of what's it called? I forgot it. The law of intentionality. The law of intentionality. So whatever you want, you have to be intentional. Nothing, and no result happen just like that. You have to be intentional. You have to set up a plan. You have to be disciplined if you want it to happen. If you want it to come to fruition, you know, you have to be disciplined. You have to be intentional. You don't have a good relationship just by hoping. No, you put in the work. You don't have good finances just by hoping. You put in the work. You don't have a good health just by hoping. You put in the work. you're intentional. Whatever you do is with a purpose. Because otherwise you're gonna just look for what makes you feel good right now, not thinking about the long-term game, not thinking about the long-term effects of all that. With no discipline, there's no freedom. With no discipline, there's no freedom. I heard a guy one time. He said that freedom of one thing is bondage to his opposite. You get what I'm saying? So if you want to be free from one thing, you have to be kept in bondage by its opposite. You don't want to be kept in bondage by your food. You want to be free health wise. You have to be kept in bondage by a healthy and active lifestyle. You have to be committed. You have to be imprisoned by the healthy lifestyle, which is going to create freedom from unhealthiness and sickness and all that stuff. So I love that quote, and to me it makes a lot of sense. It's freedom from one thing is being kept in bondage by its opposite, right? You want to be free health wise, you have to eat the right food. You have to be kept in bondage by a certain lifestyle, right? Because otherwise, if you are free from the healthy lifestyle, you are kept in bondage by the opposite. You are kept in bondage by the food and all that good stuff. You want to be free from your phone, you have to be you have to be kept in bondage by the discipline of being mentally wise, if that makes sense. Being mentally having that mental discipline, if that makes sense, right? We go back to the emotions. A lot of people just rely on their emotions because they have no emotional intelligence. They don't have that emotional maturity. So they only act if they feel angry, they're going to act angry. Not thinking about the effect of that action. If you only rely on your emotion, you have no self-control. And that leads to, again, a lot of things that you might not want in your life. Is going to create result. Every action, every decision has its share of consequences, whether it's good and or bad. Some actions, some decisions that you make have good and bad. Some mostly have good and some mostly have bad, right? But if you keep on doing the wrong on making the wrong decisions, don't ask yourself why you're being in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not disciplined. You just rely on how you feel, and that's what society wants you to fall for. It's just about how you feel, but how you feel you might be deceived. How you feel might deceive you. So it's having that long-term mentality. Is what I'm doing now going to help me in the future? Is it going to benefit me, or is it going to work against me? That's discipline. That's freedom, right? No discipline, no freedom. Put it however you want it. You wanna have a good life. A good life is a disciplined life. A life of freedom is a life of discipline. And take that in any and every aspect you want. If you don't have discipline in a certain aspect, you're kept in bondage. Prison is not just the institution. It's not just being kept in four walls. You can be kept in bondage mentally. You can be kept in bondage by the food that you eat. You can be kept in bondage by your phone. You can be kept in bondage by social media. You can be kept in bondage by your emotions, right? If you don't learn to be disciplined in those things, you're going to be kept in bondage. You're going to be limited. And always think about how you can play for the long term. Because your 20s or your teens or whatever, that's just a short period of time. That's a fraction of your life. Yes, you need to enjoy it, but you need to be disciplined in it. You can't just go for, I'm not gonna be young my whole life. What does that even mean? If you do it right, you're gonna be young way longer than you think. If you do it right, you're gonna be way younger you're gonna be younger. You're gonna be young for a longer period of time than you think. Cause think about it. I know a lot of people. If you're in your 20s, 40 seems so old. But if you're 40, man, 40 seems pretty young. You feel young if you do the right things, right? And maybe you're gonna live up, God willing, to be 80, 90, 100. I don't know, right? So imagine if you ruin your life or you make the wrong decisions for just in your 20s. If you live up to, let's say, you're up to 90, 10 years of just wanting to enjoy your life can impact the next 70 years. Because then it's not just, yes, at any point in time you can turn around and start making the right decisions, and that's the beauty of life, is that you can always at any given time turn back and start making the right decision and start going towards the right direction, and that's amazing, right? But a lot of times, if you just keep on going through that rat race of going for the short-term pleasure and what pleases you on the moment, the habit might be so anchored that even the habit might be so anchored that you start feeling numb to the pain and numb to the painful results. If you keep on doing the wrong decisions, you're gonna become numb to the result of that, to the pain of that. If that makes sense, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, right? And then it's gonna be hard for you to start making the right decision later on in your life, right? Don't mess up the rest of your life just for the short term, your 20s or your teens. No, be disciplined, because if you are disciplined for these, I don't know, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, the habits again are going to be anchored, and it's going to produce fruits that are going to benefit you for the rest of your life. Having the right habits, having the right lifestyle right now for the next 5 years is going to give you the health, the mentality, the energy to go on for a good chunk of your life. If you just keep those habits, it's going to benefit you for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to play with your kids. You're going to be able to do a lot of things that if you don't have that discipline, you might be maybe you're going to be limited, if that makes sense. You're going to be deprived from it. I hope it makes sense for you guys, right? Don't screw your life up to enjoy your 20s or enjoy your teens. You can be disciplined and still have fun. You can work out and still have fun. You can eat well and still have fun. You can be wise with your finances and still have fun, right? I don't know. Okay, I don't know where it cut, but we're back. So yeah, I haven't seen a lot of people that that are 75, 85, 90, whatever it is, that are super overweight. They're most likely people that are in shape, that walk a lot, that work out, and all that good stuff. So that should tell you something. Think about it. Think about it for real, right? So anyways, you guys, I hope that helped. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. I hope you guys took some takeaways from this podcast, and let me know what you think in the comments. Reach out to me. Give it a review. Comment. Let me know if you agree. If you don't agree, do you think that a life of freedom a life of discipline leads to true freedom, or you don't believe that? Let me know, right? And until next time, get up, get dressed, and go get what's yours. It's been a pleasure, you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.